Good afternoon. It is June 10th at 3 p.m. I will call to order the executive board meeting for YCOM, scheduled for today's date and time. And we are going to start. I will ask Board Member Tukalski if he'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Everybody has a packet in front of them. So I do not have any old business for today. I am going to pause our regular executive board meeting at 3:01. And I'm going to open the public hearing regarding the budget for 2025-2026 for YCOM. If there is anybody that wants to make any public comment that is online, please raise your virtual hand. And I'm not seeing anybody in attendance online nor in person in the room here wishing to make any public comment. I'm going to let it hang for 1 minute until 3:03, just to make sure that we don't have anybody join that is wishing to make public comment. Still seeing none, I will adjourn the public hearing for the budget for 2025-2026 for YCOM. And we will go back on with our regular executive board agenda for today's date. With respect to the budget that was presented to the budget committee last time and all of the discussions, are there any other deliberations from any of the board members regarding the director's presentation of the budget or any of the concerns with the budget itself? Brandon?
Yes, Sheriff. I just want to reiterate, because I know last year when I was a budget committee member, I mentioned the timeline. I would like to, I'm probably not going to be in the seat next year. So I just want to make sure as an administrator who will be furnishing my budget and putting together that we keep staff accountable to getting this a little earlier, especially, for the bigger cities that are going through some budget issues like the county and city McMinnville, et cetera. It probably would just be more beneficial to everybody involved. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other deliberations on the budget as presented? Commissioner King online, anything from you?
No, nothing from me. Thank you for asking.
All right. So in your packet, you should see a draft of a resolution. And this would be the time in which I would entertain any motions with respect to the draft resolution that has been prepared.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-01. The resolution adopting the budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025, with the total general fund appropriation of $3,828,000, $828,700. Let me redo that again. Total general fund appropriations of $3,828,700 $828,577. Tongue twister.
I second it.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion regarding this resolution? Seeing none, I'll take a roll call vote. Member Tukalski,
Aye.
Administrator Dross,
Aye.
I vote aye. David Vanderwally
Aye.
and Commissioner King.
Aye.
By a unanimous vote, we have the approval of Resolution 2025-01, adopting the budget for the Yamhill Communications Agency for fiscal year 2025-2026 in the sum of $4,110,469 and making appropriations for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025, as shown below, which is what was referenced in the motion from Administrator Dross, a total general fund appropriation of $3,828,577. Thank you again to the members of this board as well as the full budget committee for the work this year. Obviously, we do have some takeaways that we plan to take a very serious look at over the coming period of months so that we are better prepared for budget season next year, taking a lot of the feedback from the budget committee members as far as some earlier planning to have better information out to those members, as well as addressing a couple of other topics, which we will get to in our agenda later today. Also in your packet, there is a proposed user dues schedule. As we discussed with the budget committee and during the presentation of the budget by the director, we fully acknowledge that the budget that was proposed and has now been adopted by this resolution necessitates an adjustment in the dues schedule. And so you'll see, as we discussed, what that adjustment needs to be for this coming fiscal year. And so this board would need to make a motion regarding the dues schedule for 2025, 2026. And we do have this prepared schedule for your reference. If anybody has any questions before we get to that point, I'm open to those. Yes, sir.
And I don't know if this is a formality question or not, but are we okay to approve the user due schedules after the budget? Okay, I didn't know if there was a concern with that. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Sheriff, are you looking for a motion to adopt the user due schedule?
I am.
Okay, so I shall motion that the 2025-2026 YCOM proposed user dues schedule is accepted as shown in the documentation today.
I would second that motion.
So we have a motion and a second regarding the proposed dues schedule for the coming fiscal year 2025, 2026. Any further discussion regarding this proposed dues schedule?
I wanted to state the city of McMinnville did add this new value to our current budget, so it is in there.
Thank you.
That's it.
Commissioner King, anything?
Same. I believe our budget reflects this number as well.
All right. I will take a roll call vote. Board Member Tukalski,
Aye.
Board Member Dross,
Aye.
my vote is aye. Board Member Vanderwally
Aye.
and Board Member Commissioner King.
Aye.
Again, a unanimous vote in favor of adoption of the proposed user dues schedule for 2025, 2026. So moving on in the agenda to new business, you will obviously notice that our director is not here with us today due to some more important family matters that she's tending to. However, we do have our operations manager, Steve Long, and I did ask him to prepare just a brief update for the board today. So I'm going to insert that in to new business here so he can just update us on the current goings on in YCOM. Steve.
Thank you, Sheriff. We currently have
3 in training still. 2 completed their state DPSST Academy last week. Both graduated. Their final scores were both in the 90s. I think one was 92, one was 96%. Our 3rd trainee will go to the academy in August. He is currently today at EMD class. It's a 3-day class for our medical certification. They're all doing well. One is, we hope to get it, at least one done by the end of July, and hopefully the second one will be completing training by the end of August. And then the 3rd one, probably sometime September would be our guess at this point. We're currently still working on the RMS project that we've started with the SO and MACPD. That's going well. We had another meeting today with some updated timelines. Text to 911 is still, we're still waiting on equipment to be shipped. And then once that gets here, they'll have some engineering time, and then we'll get a go live date for that. Scott and Tim, our IT guys, are going to a OEM sponsored cybersecurity training next week with the state to learn about doing vulnerability testing ourselves instead of contracting out. So that'll save us some time and money moving forward. And that's all I have if nobody has any questions.
Thank you, Steve. Any questions for Mr. Long? Okay. Item 3A, review of the 190 agreement. So this is a topic that's come up multiple times over the past year, probably. And it is that time. And so as the executive board, I have envisioned this process to be essentially a subcommittee or a work group on behalf of the executive board to undertake a review of the 190 agreement, ensure that it's updated to accurately reflect those member agencies that in their current form, as well as just acknowledgement of who the signers of the agreement are now versus the original document from 06. So I would be curious if any of the rest of the board have any concerns that you would like to discuss before I just chart forward with my visions for how this 190 review would take place. Brandon.
Thank you, Sheriff. No, I know just the big thing that came up when I was appointed was one of the things that I know there was some concerns from elected officials that, normally managers, administrators aren't the ones who set tax rates, and that's something that should fall on the governing body of, a governing body member, regardless if you agree with that or not. I know that was a big thing. So I know that's something that the small cities, when I was appointed, wanted to see looked at, maybe having just equal elected representation along the board. So I know that's something.
Board Member Tukalski?
Yeah, I don't have anything further. I look forward to your presentation.
David?
I'm good as well.
Commissioner King?
We look forward to hear what you have to say, Sheriff.
So I did have some conversation with Mayor King from Amity when she was here for the last budget committee meeting. She has a lot of interest in participating in this review. And I recognize the point that Member Dross makes about elected representation and having folks that are more of the policy setting portion of some of the membership. And I want it to be as inclusive of the makeup of the various parties to the 190. So you have large fire district, you have small fire district, you have, large law enforcement, small law enforcement, and, everything in between, depending on, whether the municipality has their own police department or whether they contract with the sheriff's office, whether they, are running their own fire district or contracting to another entity. And so I would be curious whether any of the current board members has an interest in participating in this committee, this work group for the 190 review. I know that Chief Godfrey from McMinnville Fire District has an interest. As I said, Mayor King has an interest. And I would be looking for suggestions from any of the board members about other individuals that you think would be some folks that we should, pursue their interest level in participating in this. I don't expect this to be a function of this executive board because we already have plenty of things to do. And with the formation, or I guess the rekindling of the user committee, that's going to be meeting in the months in between when this board meets. We'll be getting that feedback from the user committee as far as their experiences and any issues that they feel need to be investigated. But I want it to be a comprehensive group of people. And so if there's anybody that you might have in mind that you think are folks I could reach out to, I'm all ears as far as folks that I could potentially look to. I would prefer that this be, a group of at least 5. But the more, the better to get that full representation of the variety of entities that are going to be parties or currently are parties to this agreement. So I guess I'll just kind of go back around and ask that if you don't have anybody today that you maybe want to suggest as being a participant in this, if you come up with somebody later on, please direct those names to me so that I can reach out to them and pursue that. But Board Member Tukalski.
Yeah, the only person that comes to mind right now, Sheriff, is probably retired Chief Matt Scales. I would think that he would probably be an asset. Whether he's willing or not, I'm not certain. But yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Member Dross.
From a board member point of view, I would help out. If you
Okay.
had somebody on the board member to kind of help lead it or co-lead it or whatever. But he mentioned retired police chief, maybe like a Ron Noble or something. I know he's been pretty active. I mean, he was a chief in McMinnville up until a couple years ago, right? So I think he probably would be somebody who would kind of help.
Okay. David?
Yeah, I would be willing to, participate if there's a need for that. And as far as fire chiefs, if you want to kind of go down that road, I mean, Chief Lusage is the only one that, is retired, that stepped back, that has a fair amount of, he was on McMinnville for I don't know how many years, and he's been involved in a lot of this stuff prior to that. Whether he's interested, I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
But he's the only one that pops up in my scope of people I deal with.
Appreciate that.
But there might be another, 1 or 2 somewhere that, might be interested if given the opportunity.
Well, and I guess I'll just throw out there that I am going to be attending Fire Defense Board tomorrow.
Okay.
And I can throw that out to the Fire Defense Board, all of the chiefs,
Right.
and see if there's any names that they can kind of agree on as a potential candidate.
When you talk about revamping or whatever the 190, are you thinking that it's still a five-member board, or are you thinking we need to add membership?
I don't necessarily think we need to change the number of board members for the executive board. I'm more concerned with looking at the terms, because right now, the way that things have fallen with board members that have either left and been replaced, or just the current language
Right.
about the terms of service for board members.
Right.
We wind up with significant changeover all at one time
Right.
within the executive board. And then looking at who is actually recognized as parties to the agreement, because the current one was put in place back when the city of McMinnville used to run a fire department.
Right.
And then you had a separate rural fire district, and now you just have the McMinnville Fire District.
Right.
We have, a reflection of the change with respect to West Valley Fire, who's contracting with Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde, and just making sure that the agreement is current in its terminology and how it references the parties. And looking at, are there changes that should be made with respect to representation on the board itself? Because, you're the representative to the fire districts.
Right.
Is it time that we look at there being a threshold of what's considered a large fire district and a small fire district? And how is that representation equitably brought to the executive board?
Right.
So it could be fairly simple. It could be fairly comprehensive, depending on what this group decides as far as how in-depth that review needs to be, but I think every signature on the existing 190, none of those people are still working.
Right.
And so it's
Okay.
time to update it.
Sheriff, I had two more names as well.
Okay.
I don't know if you want those now or.
Sure.
Okay. The first one would be Carl with a C, last name Thompson, Thompson. He's retired McMinnville Fire, probably 30 years. He lives in town, very knowledgeable.
Okay.
So, good person. And then I have another, would you be interested in so my best friend is a lieutenant with the city of Portland, and he has 25 years there. He is a Yamhill County resident, though. I don't know if you'd be interested in that or not.
I think there's some benefit at times to bringing in some outside perspective.
Okay.
And so certainly worth consideration.
I'd be
Yeah.
happy to give you his name and number after this.
Perfect. Commissioner King.
Yeah, kind of the same train of thought there. Not sure if the tribe is involved at all in that, or has that representation as well. I know they're a user. And then similar as Dan, my neighbor is a battalion chief for City of Portland and Yamhill County resident. He may be interested in something like that as well. So happy to get you his name and number if that was a direction that we wanted to go, just from an outside but still living in, experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll take any and all suggestions and then probably come back to the board with, and it may be in the form of an email in between now and our meeting to try to keep things moving along with, I guess, a list of folks who have agreed at least to participate. And then we can whittle it down from there to what we feel is an appropriate representation of our member users and how that would be reflected in a subgroup to this, because they will be presenting their findings to this executive board. So, all right, thank you. And similarly, along with the 190 update, based off of both the feedback from our board member, Dross, as well as some of the discussion that took place through this budgetary process, I think it's time to just look at basically our user dues as a whole. And so it's listed here as a user dues review work group. I would consider this again to be just a subcommittee of this executive board, ensuring that we are both planning for the future and trying to address the current needs and limitations budgetarily that some of our members are struggling with. And so I would ask the same thing. If you have individuals that you would want to forward their names and contact information to me that you think may be an appropriate individual to help us look at our dues structure, not just what the actual number is, but how it's broken up between law and fire, and a comparison of what, we had some information about some of our neighboring counties and what our dues are in comparison. But also, being able to come back to this executive board and present information about the direction that they think that we should be going. This isn't something that I think is going to get tackled in one fiscal year, just like we had an adjustment last year. We now have an adjustment this year, but we need to have a long-term strategy for how it's going to be sustainable for all of our members. I'm not going to ask anybody to throw those names out right here on the spot, but I would ask you to forward me the names of any individuals that you think would be relevant to looking at the user dues review. And I'm going to be asking Chief Graven, who is heading the user committee, if he would be willing to chair this subgroup to look at our dues structure. So any comments, concerns, feedback with respect to a user dues review work group?
No, I think it's needed. I think, just the concerns everybody's had. And, it also charts a path better for staff. So they don't have to come back to us 2 years in a row and say, hey, we need to do 10%. We can kind of take some of that heat off of staff and also take some of the heat off of us as we just kind of plan strategically a little better. So,
Yeah, I think in this current political climate, you're gonna struggle to get a perfect world, I guess, as far as a due structure, but yeah,
Yeah.
there definitely needs to be looked at and try and see what we can do to look at maybe other funding sources or that type of thing, I think, to figure this out. Because not everybody's in the same boat, pretty much struggling with
Yeah.
what the cost of going up and all of that.
Yeah, I think that, we all anticipate when we head into budget season every year that we're going to see those typical predictable increases with PERS and with health insurance. And when you're talking about sustainability of an organization as important as this organization, something that's predictable is something that all these member entities can plan for. If you do a smaller predictable number every year that's just continuing versus having to make large adjustments that are unplanned, at least you have more of a strategy that, is a longer term solution, I guess, to knowing what each individual budget group needs to plan for each year. So that would be my goal, is to come up with not just where are we at today, but where do we need to get to and how are we going to get there and how do we make that manageable for the parties. So those are all.
I would agree with you, Sheriff. I think based on this budget cycle and just not myself, but just seeing the struggles over the last couple of years, I would say that there's no sacred cows in this, right? I think when Ken restructured these fees, 5-6 years ago, it made sense for the time, but I think that times have changed at this point and it's time to take another look at them. So definitely would agree.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything for this committee today? I know this is a pretty quick one, but it's kind of the end of a marathon and getting through budget and appreciate all the work that's gone in by Steve and Patty to prepare us the information to consider. So any final thoughts from anyone? All right. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, August 12th from 3 to 4:30. Again, we'll have the virtual option if folks aren't able to attend in person. Appreciate everyone's attention to ensuring that YCOM has a clear path forward for 2025, 2026. And we will adjourn at 3:28.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.